Hello again everyone, and welcome to my review of the Shred Tread, the new Era 2 Eastern Alliance Premium Heavy Tank. This tank is part of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle collaboration. This particular tank is based on the character Shredder. Anyways, let's get to it, starting with the firepower of the tank. So the Shred Tread has a hard-hitting main cannon capable of dealing 700 damage per shot. This puts it in the top 4 hardest hitting conventional cannons in Era 2, only behind the Rock Crawler with 1150, the BZT-70 with 950, and the Object 120 with 850. This means that you'll be able to outtrade almost anyone. Now, like always, there's no point in having great damage if you can't hit anything. With an accuracy of 0.38, you're a little on the high end, but just barely. The closest I could find was the T-72AV stock cannon at 0.39 and its upgraded cannon at 0.37. If you have played this tank and you are fairly comfortable with its accuracy, you should be okay with this one. With the turret rotation dispersion of 1.37, you're sitting at almost 25% higher dispersion than the average top tier Era 2 heavy tank. The closest tank I could find would be the XM1 at 1.4. In my experience, this wasn't too much of a problem and didn't feel nearly as bad as it was when I was playing the BZT-70. Now, as for the movement dispersion, it was sitting at 3.76, which is 57.4% worse than the average, which was 2.39. The closest being the BZT-70, and with that tank already being atrocious at firing on the move and being better than this tank's dispersion, that could tell you just how bad it is at firing on the move. In all honesty, I wouldn't even recommend trying. But how is it performing when you actually do manage to hit the target? Well, the Shred Tread has 3 ammo types: standard APDS, premium heat, and high explosive. Now, as you know, heat is basically useless outside of a few rare cases. Now, I still carried a few just for the off chance that I would run into these instances, but I haven't ran into one yet. I also haven't had a need to use high explosive, so I cannot really give those a good review. Anyways, with a penetration value of 406mm on its standard rounds, it is sitting about average for an Eastern Alliance heavy tank. I personally didn't notice any problem with penning most of my shots. Now, if you are somebody who prefers using a good premium round instead of aiming for weak spots, you're going to have a rough time with this tank. Anyways, enough about the main cannon. Let's not forget that it also has a rotary cannon, aptly named the Shredder, as a secondary. The Shredder has only one type of ammo, APCR. With only 50mm, you're not really going to be doing anything against most tanks, but it is great for perma-tracking targets as well as, and this is my favorite advantage of it, dealing with those pesky weasels. The times I would hit incoming weasels with the Uno reverse card and see them become burning wrecks, or for them to turn tail and run even before they could even get started, were just no. Now, I can deal with having an incredibly low pen on this cannon, but I just hated that the Shred Tread only carried a measly 1000 rounds. Let me tell you, I really struggle with trigger discipline, resulting in me running out of rounds very quickly. Another issue, though minor, was that it only deals 10 damage per shot. While this is okay, I personally would have loved to have had a bit more just to really have those rodents crying. All in all, the Shred Tread is a force to be reckoned with. You don't want to be the target it has its sights on. Now, the Shred Tread is the first to bring the new rocket boost mechanic to Cold War. Now, the Shred Tread is fast, much faster than the rocket tanks in World War II. Now, the rocket boosts make the World War II tanks feel fast. Imagine how insanely fast it makes you feel in this thing. Now, normally, the Shred Tread is able to go 55 kilometers per hour. Now, this isn't insanely fast, but for the armor it has, it's a decent speed. Now, with the rockets, you're able to go 82 kilometers an hour. Now, this is real. Now, you do lose your whole traverse speed and you can't really reverse, but man, do you go fast.
Gotta go fast. Fast as fuck, boy!
Now, it comes equipped with 6 boosts, so you don't have to be as conservative with them as you would be with the World War II tanks. Anyways, back to the actual mobility stats of the Shred Tread. The Shred Tread has a power to weight ratio of 15.17. This isn't great, but for the armor it has, it can be a lot worse, and again, because of the rockets, you don't really notice it. As for the traverse speed, it sits at 36 degrees per second. You'll struggle a bit with being circled, but the armor holds up well enough to give you some wiggle room. Now for its terrain resistances, it sits at 1.1 for hard terrain, 1.2 for moderately soft terrain, and 1.9 for soft terrain. Now this is actually pretty decent, sitting about the same as every other heavy, with the Russian heavies having just the slightest advantage here. Now I have to say it again, the Shred Tread, despite its strong armor, can be played very aggressively because of the rocket boosts. When I was playing it, I generally played it very aggressively, using the boost to get into those very aggressive positions, forcing the front line to move forward, forcing the enemy to either fall back or get annihilated once they were spotted. Now this is a bit of a double-edged sword. This kind of speed can get you into a lot of trouble, and unlike light tanks, which are small and mobile, once the Shred Tread is caught out of position, it can't really get away. Be tactical on your movements and it shouldn't be an issue. Now you have been hearing me tease at the armor in the previous sections, but let's really dive into the Shred Tread's armor. Now the homage to the Shredder's armor design isn't just for looks, it actually acts like space armor. This gives you better protection against heat and high explosive, as well as ever so slightly giving you a slightly larger appearance. It's not much, but it can trick the occasional enemy. Now the tank has the same armor design as the BZ-75, the Tier 10 Chinese rocket heavy tank in World War II. It features a pike nose upper front plate, yet a flat lower plate. The turret face is comprised mostly of a well-angled 270mm armor plate with an additional plate behind it of another 150mm at the same angle. Head on, you're not really going to be able to go through the turret front, even with premium rounds. Now you can go through the hatches, but this can be a bit of a tough shot to make with them being fairly short and all. It can also be a problem if it's using its full 8 degrees of gun depression. Now as for the sides, they are only 110mm thick and have no angle whatsoever, with only 20mm of track to go along with it. This is good enough to side scrape, but being completely perpendicular to incoming fire is just asking for a bad time. Finally, the rear armor is only 60mm thick. This might mean something to some of y'all, but if you're relying on the rear armor, something's gone terribly wrong and I doubt you're going to be surviving for very much longer. All in all, the Shred Tread is a bit of a tough nut to crack frontally, but being on its flanks leaves it at the mercy of its predators. Utilizing its speed to constantly stay on the move and repositioning gives the enemy team less of a chance to get in a position that compromises your armor's effectiveness. Okay, so for my final thoughts, I would like to give the Shred Tread a rating of 9 out of 10. It is an incredibly fun tank, and being able to fly through the map at Mach Jesus in such a heavily armored and heavily armed tank is so much fun. It comes with a mechanic that we just don't have in Cold War yet, which is great all on its own, but this tank also comes with so many other great things that it's simply a tank you shouldn't pass on. Now while I think it's good enough to buy for full price, completing the pizza slice challenges will reward you with a 25% discount, and getting something for cheaper for basically just playing the game is always nice. Anyways, like always, I will have the gameplay coming up here shortly. I will also be linking my Discord down below. I do monthly giveaways and it's just a great place to discuss all things war and tanks. It also allows me to get better feedback on my videos, as well as allow you to have a voice in any future content. I will also be linking my Twitch channel. I'd appreciate it if you go and subscribe, as I will be starting to stream on it soon. Anyways, good luck out there, and I'll see y'all on the battlefield. Yes,